Commandant General, Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, Dr. Ahmed Abubakar Audi, MNI. Welcome to TuesdayLive.
Thank you, sir.
Also tonight, we've been joined by the AIG in charge of federal operations, Johnson Kokumo. Good to see you on the program. We are being joined by Dr. Abdurrahman Abu Hamisu, a researcher, lecturer, and public affairs analyst. Welcome to the program. Well, Commander General, let me begin with you with this very simple. I know very well citizens watching us, a lot need to be reminded that it takes two to tango. That we have a responsibility when it comes to insecurity or security in the country. And I want to ask, security is everybody's responsibility.
Yes.
How do you open up with that?
Well, thank you for having me. You see, more often than not, people misconstrue security for just mere protection. It is much more than that. You see, the absence of security is insecurity. And the absence of insecurity is security. And there is this popular saying that says, security is supposed to be for all. Security should not be left in the hand of only security agencies. Nigeria is expressing a very different type of insecurity over time. The one we are conversant with is the symmetric war, the normal conventional war. But this time around, we have been faced with a monster called the asymmetric war. The asymmetric war is a war that operates like a guerrilla-like type of war, where hoodlums, insurgents, terrorists strike at targets, hit at targets, cause devastating damages, and then go back to hiding. So security actually is supposed to be for every single citizen. So if you ask me what is security, I say security is a way of life, because there's no nation that will develop without peace and security. So we need to come together, actually, as a nation, as a citizen, to make sure we live in peace and build confidence within ourselves, and then also build peace building in the country. And we must come together, actually, if we really want to achieve this. If I give you an example with the case of Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka battled with this type of insecurity for a long time, for about 2 decades. The Tamil Tigers held Sri Lanka to ransom for over 2 decades. They battled with it before they really come to find solutions to it. And I think that is the phase Nigeria is passing, you know. And I know that with time, I'm confident that you can see even the spite is reducing. Somebody interviewed me last week and asked me, why is the thing increasing? I said, no, it's not increasing. There is actually security, insecurity, but it's not increasing. So,
okay, let's go back to you, sir. Why would it be that when citizens are disposed to help security agencies, they hold back?
Well, very sensitive question. You know, over the years, from experience, I've realized that most citizens have this belief that when they supply information to security agencies, they are not usually feeling that they are secured. They feel that this fear of exposure, and sometimes when citizens report cases or issues of insecurity, and normally it depends on the type. It is the investigation that will really show or prove whether there's going to be a twist or not. So sometimes you will see citizens collaborate, or they collide, they kind of collide, or they conspire with criminals to deliberately give information to cause diversion or to cause confusion for security agencies, when they are investigating. And so sometimes the investigation as it goes, as the investigation unveils, you realize that there will be a twist, and the citizens, sometimes they don't feel safe. So, and over time, the citizens, because of that, some actually will provide useful information. More especially now that we're experiencing asymmetric war. Because we need to rely on what is called credible intelligence. Credible intelligence. If we want to nip this problem in the bud. And we must synergize. The agencies must synergize. And therefore, the agencies also should provide safety for citizens that will provide information. You understand? Information to the security agencies. They need to have confidence that yes, they are going to be protected. So why sometimes our citizens don't feel safe is that they feel that they are not going to be protected.
So how do we build back this confidence?
Yes, we can do that. One, by protecting the information that is being given to security agencies. What do I mean? Or how do I? You see, when you get information from the citizens, you need to work on that information. That's what is called information synthesis. You must analyze the information. And you must not disclose, you must protect your citizens that are serving as informants. That way, you restore back confidence on the citizens. And then the relationship between citizens and security agencies, especially communities, traditional rulers. In those days, when we were kids, any visitor that comes to a village, the traditional ruler must know. It is the citizens' responsibility to report to the traditional ruler. We have a visitor in our midst. We need to check. We need to vet. The communities, the citizens will vet. We vet ourselves. That situation is no longer in practice. We have lost that value. So until we are ready to restore back those values in us, even the citizen, it will take us time to go out of this quagmire.
Okay. Dr. Hamisu, the General, let me read this copiously. Being vigilant in your community, thereby observing the activities going around you and reporting those activities that will pose security challenges to the security operatives concerned. That is one of the roles of a responsible citizen.
Of course.
But why are they not doing it?
Yes, you see, a lot of factors. But really, this is because the citizens are not feeling safe. Why are they not feeling safe? You see, I have told you from when I started that there's this popular saying that says, a hydra-headed problem requires a very rugged octopus solution. We're experiencing a different type of conflict, and the conflict is called asymmetric. Now, these guys are highly trained. They are trained. And they also know the importance of intelligence. So many a times, they also have the intelligence that monitors those informants who give information to the security agencies. And many a times, they go after those informants that give information to the security agencies. And they attack them. So That scared the citizens. They no longer feel safe. If I give this information, will I be spared?
So can we
will
change
it not
this?
leaked?
How can we change it?
I have told you that we must go back to basics.
Okay.
We must go back to our values. We must respect our laws. We must fight injustice. Injustice. There is a lot of injustice in the land.
When you say these fellows have their sophistry, they are very sophisticated.
Yes.
They have a way, they have the intelligence of monitoring informants or monitoring citizens who cooperate with security agencies. And we want us to change the narrative, we want to change it by so we have to do something about it. We can't remain this way forever.
Yes. You see, one of the solutions is to fight this thing head on. To face it head on. Just like the Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka used intelligence to fight this war, and they got it right. We must provide credible intelligence, and we must take action immediately. When intelligence is provided, we must take action if we really want to solve this problem. And you see, Nigerians are good people. If you go abroad, you see how Nigerians behave. Nigerians are people that have achieved a lot. But one begin to wonder why back in our country we are not really understanding the context of our problem. So we must go back to basics. We have to change our attitude. You know, the attitude of the elites is another very central problem. The elites. I can give you an example. I was a deputy commandant when the insurgency broke out in the northeast, specifically in Yobe. That was around 2008-9. You know, we gave intelligence that this is what is likely to happen. Our political elites recruited these thugs who were idle, used them for their political gains, had agreements with them. But when they got into the office, some abandoned those youth. They're now saying, okay, so you use those. We provided the platform for you. You are there. You are not there, and then you refuse now to honor the agreement that we have with you. You are going to give us employment, and you didn't do that. Now, this is the reaction. This is the reaction of the youth on that. So we must go back to basics. We must go back to basics. Okay. Our attitude, our value system, we must work on it.
Okay. Before, Commander General, now, within the ambit of your operations, you have laws.
Yes.
Extant laws governing you, meaning you are an institution. Yeah. Let's say, for instance, one of the things you do is the protection of national infrastructure. Let's say
critical assets.
Oil pipeline, critical assets. Within a community, we have somebody who is involved in oil bunkering. He has lived in that community year in, year out. He gets arrested and he returns. He gets arrested, the citizens there inform government about it, you act on it, but the same person returns back to that. That could be one of the reasons why citizens are a bit withdrawn from assisting or making themselves available responsibly for security, national security protection.
Yeah. Well, you see, in our own case, we have our act. As a matter of fact, we operate on the basis of two existing acts. The first act of 2003 and the second amendment act of 2007. And it is clearly stated for us our mandates. Like you said, if you look at the national security strategy of government, that was really published by the Office of the National Security Advisor, it is stated very clearly that civil defense, Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps is the lead agency actually in the area of protection of critical national asset and infrastructure. And over time, we operate within the confines of our law. When we make arrests, we investigate. Like you said, bunkerers, we investigate. When we investigate, we write our report. And our act stipulates that we can also prosecute. So we take the matter to court. And we leave the court to, that is not our jurisdiction. Adjudication is in the court. So the case will pass through the court process. So if eventually the court realizes that the person that is arrested, the suspect, is not guilty, that is the court decision. Yes, but once the court says the person is guilty, he faces the wrath of it.
But have you had cases, as much as I know, have you forwarded congratulations, you're settling in on your appointment as Commandant General of the
yes,
Good.
Yes.
Have you had cases where somebody commits a crime and is arrested by your organization and there's this phone call from above trying to influence your action?
Well,
as much as you are protected by law.
Well, you know, I'm a security officer, a trainer for that matter. And there are certain things that I'm not supposed to say on the screen, you know. But I like to say that civil defense really has been allowed to be doing her duties over the years, because this is my 24th year in civil defense, and I have gone through most of our formations, and I have not been able to experience such cases. We do have some high-profile cases actually, but that we were disallowed for a kind of function. No, not to my knowledge.
Okay, thank you so much. That's what Afolabi is saying.
Yes, it can. Because it's really this worked in some of the countries around. Where you honor people who are really working with security agencies. It can be done. And
so that's applicable? Can apply?
It is. It could be done. At least to encourage people to relate very closely with security agencies. Like I told you, this conflict requires the cooperation of all. We need to come together. Otherwise, this government is a serious one that will consume this country. Okay. But I know that we shall get there.
Ibrahim Abdusalam Bello says, it is a great disservice to the nation for any citizen to aid and abet criminality. The major problem of banditry and kidnapping is the connivance of informants within the community. They provide information only to be paid peanuts at the expense of the community. That's an information. Sim Abdusalam says, poverty is one of the major factors people perpetrate evil just to put food on their table. Rabilu Rasi 1010. Dr. Abdurrahman has already explained more on what our society is facing, most especially the role our politicians and elites have been playing around supportive of those who go against the law due to their personality. All this has to stop, please, at Better Naija. Sim says, what are the next line of actions against these hooligans in the southeast busy killing security officers? It's uncalled for. The security agencies need to deal with these miscreants decisively. Nigeria is the only country we have. Imran, I want to agree with Doctor, but the major reason for insecurity is the flamboyant lifestyle of our public officials. Someone who just occupy office for 1 year has money to buy mansions, luxury cars, and other things. Nadop Wuyep, how do we deal with service rivalry in carrying out your duties? You want to react to that? Service rivalry. Yes.
Really, this is one of the problems that we have in fighting this problem. But I think we are getting over it. We have been able to come to the realization that no agency can fight this squabble alone. We really need to come together to collaborate and synergize. And the synergy should be scientific. What do I mean by scientific? We should share, in fact, we must share intelligence. No agency should have monopoly of any intelligence. So, but really we know that in terms of training, we know ourselves.
Before you conclude, let's take this. Our first caller tonight, Alhaji Olowo, is calling from Lagos. From your best state, I beg your pardon. Hello, Alhaji Olowo.
Good morning or good evening. Firstly, I want to appreciate your guests on the program. They have done good work. And my own contribution. It's a citizen responsibility in terms of race security to not be overemphasized. One, the citizens need to be conscious of their environment. And they should be ready and willing to give information to security agencies so as to be able to police their neighborhood properly. That's one. Then secondly, the security agencies need to come up with a robust reward for informants. That should be a pool of capital set aside to reward any forthcoming information, so as to encourage them to give information at any other time. And at the same time, at any point in time, there's a new visitors or a new arrival in a neighborhood. Such a person should be made to meet the national law of that place, so as to know him and to properly profile him. If it's a criminal, it will not take much time before it's ambushed and noticed. So these are ways by which citizens can contribute meaningfully to solving the problem of security in Nigeria. Then secondly, like the guest has said, this world is asymmetric. It's more of a guerrilla warfare. We don't know who the people are. But if we are able, like the people defense, I do know that in all the 700 local government, they have their offices here. And they have always come up with a robust intelligence to help security agencies. These people should be rewarded. And when it's not so recruitment, people of integrity, people who are patriotic, who are ready to work for this country to be recruited. The issue of man no man before request is given any further should be a thing of the past. If all this has done, we'll be able to police our environment and our country well. All we need is patriotism and robust reward from people that be. Because I want to quickly say this, that the civil defense are quite doing a good job, especially when it comes to protection of infrastructure and facility for the state, the local government and the federal government. We have seen them all over the place. And this is well done. And they need to be rewarded. Their welfare needs to be looked into. Like the new Commandant General, I believe, is looking to be. And I think they have came on board. He has not left anybody in doubt as to his readiness to live on board with new civil defense. And also, other security agencies should synergize. It is by synergizing that we'll be able to achieve a lot. When they synergize, they'll be able to achieve. The issue of rivalry, or it is me that can do it better, should be a thing of the past. The issue of security cannot be done by one agency alone. If all these agencies cooperate and they synergize, the better for the country. And if all these are done, we'll be able to fight this security to a level that everybody will be happy about. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you so much. That was Alhaji Olowo calling in from Yobe State. Before we take our next reports, let's quickly clear these tweets. Omemanyo says, the rot in Nigeria stems out of religion, and until religion is tackled holistically in Nigeria, Nigeria will continue to nosedive. His glory evidence. I'm of the opinion that just like the police, the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps should try to have a rapid response squad across the nation to help or assist the police in responding to the issue of community reports. Because so many times, when something is going on before you report and get, well, it's a bit muffled. How do you respond? Do you have this plan?
Yeah, well, I'm so excited that this person actually raised this tweet. You know,
just a second, please. Let's take this caller before you respond, please. All right. Just this caller before you respond. Abdullahi is calling in from Abuja.
Hello?
Hello, Abdullahi.
Yes, can I go ahead? Yes.
Please go ahead, please.
Yeah, thank you very much for this wonderful program. Yeah, I'm speaking. Okay, thank you very much for this wonderful program that we are watching on tackling insecurity in this country. And you have come up with the prominent people, personalities, security architectures to deal with this situation. What I have observed is no matter what, the Commandant General of Civil Defense have spoken very well and with collaboration with other security, other people. What I'm trying to say here is this: there is no way you can handle security situation or tackle situation in this country without proper collaboration with each other. Each other in the sense we have known the entry points and exit of all crime and criminality in nook and crannies of this country. But pragmatic approach is very important. Timely approach is very important. Negligence is not good for us. So the security agencies have to come together and fight this criminality along the way. Some areas we have seen where some stakeholders are being involved in criminality in this country. So what we don't do now is pragmatic approach, collaboration, synergy, and concerted efforts in sharing intelligence and other areas of coverage. And I thank the Commandant General, Dr. Audi, and other people sitting there for a beautiful setup. Thank you very much for this program. And
Thank you so much, Abdullahi. Abdullahi called him from Abuja. Doctor, you were about to respond to the tweets.
Well, what I was trying to say is that, you see, when I resumed, I look at our structure, because I resumed with a mandate to reposition the service, you know. And so what I did was that I introduced two platforms. The first one is I introduced what is called IAS, Integrated Electronic Arrest Reporting System. It's an internal platform that I've. Then I now also introduce a platform that will give opportunity for Nigerians to report to us using other technology softwares like Twitter, WhatsApp, and what have you. And that these platforms has provided a column where we cover our informants. In fact, even if you come physically and give us information, that's the way we protect you, you know. And then part of my vision was to introduce a female squad, and I have done that. I've just commissioned it last week, and specifically, their function is going to be to give protection and safety for our schools. Okay. Because how did I came up with this? I conducted a study called vulnerability study. It's a kind of a survey, an analysis of our schools in Nigeria. And I realized that from the data that we got, the data revealed that this country has about over 81,000 schools. But it may be amazing to you to hear this, that over 62,000 are so porous, no physical presence of security and no fencing. So you can see how exposed our children are. And I was also tasked by my minister, the Honorable Minister of Interior, Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola, that I should come up with a robust school initiative security program that will provide safety and security for our schools to protect our children. And that's what I'm doing. I've also established, just to respond to the tweet, I've established the Rapid Response Squad of over 250 members. And this, I drew them from our crew of special forces and strike forces and some part of our Agro Rangers group. Yeah. And these are highly people that are trained by the military, of course. Yeah. And they have the wherewithal to respond to any crisis. If you call us now, we will respond.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. We'll take the Panajana before I go to Dr. Hamisu. Part of the problem, like we have started, is the trust deficit. Most often, issues of public interest are privatized. How do we restore confidence, and henceforth, when an average citizen sees officers of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, they are available to cooperate and not hot information?
Very well. A good question. You see, when I came on board, I realized that I really have to work on discipline, because discipline is so key and central to really making personnel to really perform their duties very effectively. So I introduced some form of training and retraining of my personnel, and I did that in tandem with the vision that I have for the service, because I have a vision to make Civil Defense Corps one of the best world-class organizations. And what do I mean? I like to see an organization that will exhibit or show or practice highest level of professionalism in dealing with the civilian populace. Just as the name implies, civil defense, I have introduced in them through workshops, regimental training, how to operate on the basis of our laws, and then relate with Nigerians, citizens with civility. That way, you will restore confidence on the citizens.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks. We see a synergy between the police, civil defense, and other security agencies. Do you think the citizens will be available as much as we expect?
Of course. We have started seeing it, because we have realized and we have discussed at strategic level that one of the problems of one of the reasons why this quagmire linger is because of a lack of synergy between the security agencies, and we have resolved that we must synergize, because like I told you when I started the program, I said we need to come together in the area of credible intelligence. Like, for instance, let me give you a very good example. Last week, my boys in the state, I won't mention the state, received information. That's what is called investigative twist. They received information from a member of a family. And it's a boy that gave the information. And probably because the boy wanted some money from the parents, I think about 1 million or so, and the parents never obliged the boy. So the boy and I connived. The boy and I connived with some kidnappers and kidnapped the brother. You understand? Mm-hmm. And then afterwards, reported. So when they started the investigation and using through the phones, and then there was a lead, they eventually got the kidnappers. It was a very local, small type. So, and the father paid the ransom to rescue the son, who is the brother to the person that reported, who gave the information. But during investigation, there was a twist that the kidnappers confessed that it is the brother that organized the thing. So after we got all the information, we finally handed to our big brothers, the police, to continue this kidnapping problem. It's not part of Ahmed, so we gave it to them too. So this is part of the synergy we're talking about. We must come together. And I know that the police will handle the case very well, and they will prosecute. So, and I also want to disagree with the doctor that says the value system is very important. Value system, very, very important. We have lost it. We must restore back our value system. We must demonstrate element of patriotism. Like I told you in those days, I know that in those days, when we pass through our teachers, we remove our shoes. We hold it, and then we pass When we pass them, we drop it and wear the shoes. The value system was inside us. It was part of us. Yeah. But now we don't know what has gone wrong. But I like to say that we are getting to the end of it. Because we have realized now, both the security agencies and the citizens, we have realized that we must come together. And that's why they say when you see something, you must say something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dr. Habis, Commandant General, National Security and Civil Defense Corps, Dr. Ahmed, Abubakar, Audi, MNI. Thanks so much for making time to be on Tuesday Live.
Thank you for having me.
That's it on the program. Change begins with me, begins with you. It takes all to be together, and Nigeria will be a better place. Don't forget to support the NTA in the onslaught against rape and rapists to be a star. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.